Hi guys! Welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new legal advice content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first one is titled, "My rental agency allowed their employee to turn my property into a trap house. Proceed to use their keys to my property to steal all of my stuff." Ohio. So, this is a long, winding story, so I am going to lay out the absolute facts with no emotion on my part outside of the occasional swear word. I will gladly add any detail should anyone want to know more. 1. I rent one half of a townhouse. The other half of the unit is or was rented by a maintenance man who works for the company I rent from. The maintenance man had keys to my house to do maintenance, obviously. 2. The maintenance man became heavily involved in drugs and crime. He began allowing other people to live in this house who also do heavy drugs and were committing crimes while on the property. This had gone on for a period of 6+ months. At one point, people were living in a broken-down RV in my front lawn. I had my car blocked in for an entire afternoon by a police raid. I can prove this through court documents, i.e., they used the property as their address in court documents and pictures. 3. Eventually, the maintenance man was evicted in early May. He was eventually fired in June. I have court documents to prove this. 4. The property was never cleaned up or secured. The front door is glass, that was broken out. For 3 months, it was full of trash and rotting food. The backyard was filled with trash. I have pictures up until today that proves all of this. 5. On July 7th, someone entered my house illegally while I was gone, stole lots of my belongings and trashed the apartment. It was not the maintenance man, he was in jail. I have a police report to prove this. 6. I say entered and not broke into because there was no forced entry. All my windows were locked. There are no other doors. I have a police report to prove this. You will have to take my word for it that I locked my door. Living above a trap house instills that, but I obviously can't prove that. 7. I found numerous sets of apartment keys on my bedroom floor, of the exact brand that my realtor gives out, on the same rings my realtor gives out. My one set of spare keys is accounted for. I have pictures to prove this. 8. When the police came, they found almost all of my belongings in the downstairs apartment. The apartment doors were unlocked. There was no one in the apartment at the time, but someone had been there recently enough to have ordered a pizza the night before, along with eating my ice cream and drinking my beer and leaving it there. I have a police report to prove this. 9. The police called the realtor to secure the property. A new maintenance man changed the locks but left the giant hole in the glass door. He told me he couldn't secure the property because they would just break the glass again. He said that he was replacing my former neighbor as maintenance because he was in jail and had gotten into drugs pretty bad. 10. The following Monday I called the realtor office to express my displeasure with the situation. I.e., I had a bunch of heroin addicts squatting below my house who had keys to my house and could have come into my apartment at any time. I was told they take this seriously and will call me back. She is apologetic that they can't secure the apartment more than they have. I have to call them back the following Thursday with no response. 11. As of Tuesday, no one has gotten back to me. Tuesday, I go to the property and take pictures of everything, including the still broken door. I drop off a dated, signed letter to my realtor's office stating the above, in detail citing dates, times, court reports. I state how 2 different employees informed me they couldn't secure the property. I tell them I no longer feel secure in the house. Realistically, I didn't before anyway. I often work nights or travel, meaning I would have to trust leaving my dogs by themselves. They stole my spare car key, so I can't even trust parking there. My lease expires end of August. I say that I will be out by the end of July. I absolutely will not pay August's rent, and I expect my deposit back. ORC 5321.07 is what I was basing this off, but obviously I am not a lawyer. 12. They send me a goddamn email saying the locks were changed in May, which wouldn't and didn't matter because of the giant hole in the glass door. They sent someone to re-secure the property. Again, it still has a giant hole in the door, and that the unit remains secure. Again, there is a giant goddamn hole in the door. They're sending out someone to clean up the property, 3 months after eviction and more than 10 days after my initial complaint. They still expect my August rent. I was trying to approach this entire thing respectfully and work with the company, but based on their email they're not even attempting to approach this in good faith. No one that has responded to me has even seen the property and they're sending easily disprovable written lies. I don't even want to respond to it at this point. Questions are: do I have legal standing here for early termination of my lease? I feel like I have done my due documented diligence in working with the realtor to get this resolved. I've got paper trails and pictures to prove most, if not everything, that has happened. Is the company liable for any negligence? In my mind, allowing an employee to live there, he received half off his rent, would imply some liability, plus the fact they never accounted for keys or came by to even change my locks. Would I be able to sue for punitive damages? Should I withhold August's rent or put it in escrow with the local municipal court, citing it's being held pending litigation? Should I file a complaint with the state ag? Should I contact the elementary school administrators across the street letting them know there is a large group of drug addicts squatting in an adjacent property and the realtor doesn't feel obligated to do anything about it? As a side note, this was not in some rundown neighborhood. I live in one of the highest per capita areas in the state, paying $1,000 for a one-bedroom. And while I can afford to pay one more month of rent, the entire situation has me annoyed enough to fight it with whatever modest means I have available. I'll gladly answer any questions to help flesh out details. Update. I won. I actually got a ton of good advice from that thread. First thing I did was reach out to a lawyer, but no one seemed particularly interested in taking my case, and the one lawyer who was ended up having a conflict of interest as the company is a large developer that a partner represented. I was told that it would be hard to find anyone to take it because the company was a notorious pain in the ass. Since that was a dead end, I went ahead and gathered all the evidence I had and organized it with dates into a timeline. All said and done, I had about a 3-page report that was an easy-to-follow chain of events. I actually read other civil court cases dockets against the company with similar complaints to see how to structure it and what a judge might be looking for. I took all of that and sent it into the state AG's office. After the AG reviewed it, they suggested to forward the complaint to the BBB as the company is a BBB accredited business. The company has an A+ rating, which immediately made me skeptical that I was going to get any fairness of justice out of the process. However, I wanted to make sure if this went to court, I had exhausted all the options I had. 2 weeks later, the company reached out to me to let me know they would not be charging me for the last month's rent and would be given my full deposit back. Of course, a greedy part of me thinks I should have asked for more out of spite, but in the end, I saved about $2,000. In a just world, I think I ultimately deserved more monetarily, but I feel vindicated and it's hard to put a price on that. Hopefully this helps someone else out in the future. Honestly, the Ohio Ag office has been awesome anytime I've reached out to them, so I would suggest that as the first go-to when it comes to gathering your options anytime you find yourself in conflict with a company. Thanks community, hopefully I'll never need you again. The next one is titled, Neighbor has left his truck idling for 6 hours and I am wondering the best way to find out if he is okay. Idaho. I left my house 5 hours ago to go visit some friends. As I left, I noticed that my neighbor had left his truck running. This isn't unusual as it's about 20 degrees this time of year, so I thought nothing of it. I got home a few minutes ago and noticed that it was still running. I'm worried that something may have happened, but it's close to midnight and I'm not sure how to check. A lot of people in my area have guns, so I don't want to poke around his truck too much, nor do I want to ring the doorbell this late at night. Any advice? Update. Police came and checked it out. Knocked and rang the doorbell, but no one answered, so there wasn't much else for them to do. I'll be curious to see if it's still running in the morning. Update 2. 9:15 a.m. My wife left for work at 6:45 and told me the truck was still running. I went out around 9 a.m. to check it out and it wasn't running anymore, but the keys were in the ignition still. I'm assuming it finally ran out of gas or died because the key is still turned to on. I tried ringing the doorbell but didn't get any answer. One of their cars is gone, so maybe they just forgot about the truck. Update 3. 4 p.m. Still no sign of people or any movement at their place. Police said they would check it out again, but I'm at work so I'm not sure if anything happened. We'll update again when I get home. Update 4. About 32 hours later. Keys are still in truck and still no sign of people. Police won't go into the house because the other car is gone. They have 3. I've tried knocking and ringing this morning but no answer. Guess I'll just have to keep an eye out until I see something else. Final update. After 3 days of not seeing anyone enter or leave the house, and not having any of the lights on, I finally saw my neighbor come outside as I was checking the mail. I asked him how he was doing and mentioned his truck. He told me that he forgot to turn it off when he went to sleep and that he wasn't worried about having the keys in there. He also mentioned that he has been busy the last couple days, so he has been ignoring the door. Not much else to tell, so I think that's gonna be the end of this excitement. I still find the whole situation a little bit strange, but not much else I can do. The last one is titled, I'm a pedestrian who waved in an SUV in a narrow gap and he got into an accident and he's threatening to sue me. This happened a few days ago. I live in Philly, and I was walking along a busy street, and I see this SUV at a one-way narrow street waiting to move forward at a green light. There is a small car ahead of him that's turning right. The SUV wasn't moving past the car because he thought he didn't have enough room. I saw that he did, and I just gave him a thumbs up that he can go. He ended up hitting the other car. He was trying to avoid the curb, I guess, and turned at the last second. They got into a bit of an argument and shared info and decided to call the police to make a claim, I think. I didn't really listen, but the other guy, in the small car, asked me to hang back and provide a witness in case he needs it since I saw the whole thing. They both shared each other's insurance and ID. The SUV guy asked me for my ID for witness 2 for his insurance claim. Soon after, he took a picture of my ID on his phone. He said I was the reason he moved and that he will have to make a claim against me. He is threatening to sue me and said that he would rather just send me the damage bill of both of the cars. I felt bad because I gave him the thumbs up that there was room, but he did turn at the last second. The other guy was also annoyed that I shouldn't have told him to go. He called and left a VM that I need to act soon because if he made a claim in a court it would lead to a lot of legal fees for both of us and something. He said that if I agree to pay, I can just pay half of the damages. I'm worried that it's going to be a huge amount and I don't want to go to court. If it goes to court, will I have my credit ruined? Sorry, I don't know too much legal stuff. Edit. Now he is saying that my future will be screwed, and my credit score is going to be messed up and that there is a possibility that I may be criminally convicted? I am an immigrant here on a visa and I am worried that it's going to affect me. Edit 2. Hey guys, thank you so much for your support. This has been really helpful. However, I am getting conflicting advice here. Some are saying that the other person, SUV guy, has a case and it seems like there have been cases similar to this. Some are telling me that I am absolutely guilty and should have everything taken from me. Also, I am not sure who Ayn Rand, legal author, is and how this affects me. I spoke with a legal hotline service, and they said that they are not sure of the laws, but I need to get a notarized letter from the SUV guy saying that I won't be sued if I choose to pay. I am honestly super scared and stressed that my immigration status will be affected, like the guy said. Should I be contacting immigration lawyer too? Update. I spoke with an advocate in Philadelphia as well as a lawyer and a few other people in the legal profession. They have all told me to relax and that a simple thumbs up will do nothing in the court. And will not affect me in any criminal way, credit score, or immigration status being challenged. The lawyer even said that he'll draft a letter for me on my behalf for free and mail it to that guy to stop contacting me. He even suggested that he'll help me out for free if it goes to court. That's how confident he was that it won't go to court. I don't know if I am allowed to give him a shout out. I took a few pictures of the intersection and showed it to the lawyer, which I didn't think helped, but the basic gist is that a thumbs up can mean anything and the burden of proof is on the other guy. Not me. He said that I wasn't actively directing traffic but simply chose to let him know that he was good and has room and it's up to him to make the final judgment. Personally, many others in the city have done for me when I was parallel parking and I assumed it was normal here. The big lesson here is that never interfere with a motorist. Despite how aggressive that SUV guy acted, I still feel guilty since 2 people's days were ruined because of my interference. I want to help out but was strongly advised by the people I spoke with not to, so I won't. Heck, there was even a Redditor here who messaged me and offered to pay my legal fees if it came to that. The gesture itself is flipping amazing. Another Redditor offered to meet up with me and act as a friend, since I don't know anyone in Philly, if I chose to speak with the SUV guy, which he suggested not to. And another lawyer, Immigration and Injury, on Reddit that lives in Philly offered to speak with me. I don't know if I can give them all shout out either. The point I want to make with this update is that this is a great effing subreddit with really genuine people that care. Tons of people took their time to personal message me since the thread got locked to tell me that I will be fine, and they will speak with me if I need to speak with someone. Also, Philly is a damn great city, and by no means was I trying to show it in a bad light. Strangers from the internet who live here have been pouring in offering to help me out if I need it. I am simply going to stop communicating with this guy. Thanks for listening.